Okay, so now we're going to look at photosynthesis in detail. So this process is the process by which green plants convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose using sunlight energy absorbed by chlorophyll in chloroplast. So, as I was saying in recording number one, you need to remember certain fundamental difference between a plant cell and animal cell. One of those fundamental difference is the chloroplast. So the chloroplast is an organelle that contains a special pigment called chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is found inside the chloroplast. Now, the green plants, and this chlorophyll is a green pigment. So the green plants that take in carbon dioxide from the air, they take up water from the soil. The plants combine water and carbon dioxide to make glucose, right? So the formula for glucose, the chemical formula for glucose right here is C6H12O6. So a chemical equation for photosynthesis would be as is stated here. So you would need 6 carbon dioxide molecules to react with 6 water molecules to produce 1 glucose molecule and 6 oxygen molecules. Now the oxygen is given off as a byproduct. In some textbook it can be described as a waste, but for our lesson here we're going to describe it as a byproduct, and when it is actually removed from the plant, or let's say when it is excreted, we're going to say it is because the oxygen would be in excess, which means that the plant has enough oxygen already, and so the excess oxygen will be excreted or removed from the plant leaf via diffusion, of course. So these are the raw materials. We need carbon dioxide, we need water, and there are certain conditions that are necessary. We need sunlight, the energy to drive the reaction, and we cannot get that energy unless we have a pigment, chlorophyll, which is green, to trap that light energy. Moving on. So the process can be summarized using this illustration right here. We just mentioned that we get the water from the roots of the plant, we get the sunlight from the sun, and we get carbon dioxide which diffuses into the leaf. So remember, under the lower side of the leaf there are some tiny holes, we call them stomatal pores. So these stomatal pores are the openings through which the carbon dioxide can diffuse into the plant. So on the underside, carbon dioxide diffuses into the leaf. Water comes up via the veins in the plant, and then eventually the veins are consisting of the phloem and the xylem. The xylem is responsible for bringing the water. Now the light already is being trapped by the chlorophyll, the green pigment in the leaf. So now we have everything we need, and therefore the process will occur producing the sugar, which is in the form of glucose. So that glucose is going to be made continuously by the plant as long as the raw materials are there and they have the energy to drive the process. That glucose is going to be made. Therefore, it needs to be stored. Now, before glucose can be stored, it must be converted to starch, because when it is stored as starch, now then it is more stable, right? It is stable, but when it is in the form of glucose, it is unstable, right? Or in some books, they'll say that it is very reactive. No, starch is unreactive, it is very stable. So therefore, the plant will convert the glucose that it doesn't need immediately into starch, and it will be stored in the leaf, in the roots, in the shoots, in the fruits, in the seeds. All different areas of the plant will store the starch. Now, the excess oxygen, as we stated before, will diffuse out of the leaf into the atmosphere. So that is the basis of the process of photosynthesis. Now, even deeper, looking at how the process actually works, it is divided into two stages. We have the dark stage and the light stage. So in the dark stage and the light stage. So remember, this is occurring in the chloroplast. This is the organelle in the plant cells that this process, photosynthesis, occurs. Now, in addition to the light and the chlorophyll, we also need enzymes. Now, enzymes are very important, and we're going to look at how they play their role in this process of photosynthesis. So we say that the process is in two stages, light and dark. So let us look at the light stage first. So in the light stage is also referred to as the light dependent stage, simply saying that this stage cannot happen without light energy. All right, so the light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll. We have been saying that so far. Now, what is that light energy used to do? This. It is used to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen molecules, right? And the oxygen is going to be released here when it is in excess. So in the light stage, so let's put an equation for that. That's going to be the H2O, the water, and then we're going to split it now to hydrogen plus oxygen. So here now is the equation. So let's balance it. So we're going to put two hydrogen, which is two water molecules, and then we need another 2 here, and that's balanced. So we have 2 oxygen on this side, 2 oxygen on this side, 4 hydrogen over here, 4 hydrogen over here. What is necessary? We need light, L-I-G-H-T, light, right? And that light is only going to be absorbed if we have chlorophyll. So these are the two conditions for this process to occur. So the light now is used to split the water molecule into hydrogen ions or atoms and oxygen atoms. Now this process is also called photolysis. Photolysis, and the meaning of the word, everybody knows that photo means light, and because we're splitting, lysis or lysis means to split. So photolysis is actually the light dependent stage of photosynthesis. Okay, so now we understand how the oxygen is produced. Now we're going to look at the dark stage to see what is the fate now of the hydrogen atoms. Now in the dark stage or the light independent stage, simply put, the stage that doesn't need light energy for it to happen. It just happens continuously without light or with light. So in this stage, the hydrogen atoms now that were produced in the light stage are going to do what? Reduce carbon dioxide molecules, forming glucose. So what that simply means, this is not the, and note also the importance here. It requires the enzymes to do this. So if we don't have certain enzymes in the chloroplast, then the process of photosynthesis will not occur because the glucose won't be forming. Remember, the glucose is only going to be produced if the carbon dioxide molecules are being reduced by the hydrogen atoms. So if we have CO2 and you keep adding hydrogen, keep adding hydrogen, keep adding hydrogen, keep adding hydrogen, eventually it is going to form C6H12O2. That is what the process is saying. Okay, so eventually we're going to get the C6H12O6, O6. That's the glucose formula, right? So we keep adding hydrogen to carbon dioxide molecules, adding hydrogen to carbon dioxide molecules till eventually every time you get 12 hydrogens, right? For every 6 carbon dioxide molecules, we had 12 hydrogens, and that converts it into glucose. And this process is important and will not occur unless the enzymes are present. So that is the light and dark stage of photosynthesis. Very important that these two stages are understood, so we understand the function of the light in photosynthesis, we understand the function of the enzymes, how the oxygen is produced, how the glucose is produced. Now, finally, what are the conditions necessary? Easy, easy, easy. So the conditions necessary for this process, simple, we must have carbon dioxide present. So the carbon dioxide will diffuse into the leaf through the stomata. We must have water present. That water will be absorbed through the roots, go up via the xylem into the leaves. You must have light present, and that light is going to be absorbed by the chlorophyll that is present in the chloroplast. You must have the chlorophyll so that it can absorb the light. You must have the enzymes in the chloroplast so that they can reduce the carbon dioxide using the hydrogen atoms to produce glucose. And finally, because you're using enzymes, enzymes operate in specific temperature range. And therefore, if the enzyme is denatured or destroyed, then the reduction of the carbon dioxide to form the glucose will not occur, and therefore the process of photosynthesis will not occur as well. Okay, hope you understand that. We'll move on to recording number 3, looking at the external features of the leaf next.